What is up, y'all? Today we'll be talking about a player that I think the Miami Heat should trade for that improved the team a lot. But first off, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I post daily sports videos on the NBA, the NFL, college football, and college basketball. And if you enjoyed this video, just like the video on YouTube. It is that easy. And let's talk about the Miami Heat. So, the Miami Heat are a very good basketball team. I think everyone can admit that. After the finals run, they just look, very good during the finals run, and they hope, regain that magic again this season. And they did so by, largely retaining their, core members, bringing back, Goran Dragic, that guys like that. However, on the other end, they did lose several, important players in Jay Crowder and Derrick Jones Jr. So, we're going to talk about Jay Crowder as well on the Heat team because it, fits who I think they personally need to trade for. So Jay Crowder's role was, a power forward. He was more like a small forward, but he played the power forward position that could shoot and defend very well. Okay. Now, you take your pick on which aspect of Jay Crowder was more important. I personally would say is shooting. Okay. And the reason I say this is because Miami Heat already has, two amazing defenders in Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler. And Goran Dragic is, he's decent, around average, I'd say. Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero are both not very good, but very rarely do we see both of them on the floor, so we can survive with that. And then at the center position, the Heat would sometimes run out Myers Leonard. And he's not, amazing at defense either. However, he is, like 7 feet tall, I believe, and whenever you are, 7 feet tall, you just naturally are able to, defend better. Which brings me to the idea of the player that I need to trade for, which is Jay Crowder's replacement. So, I feel like they need a, stretch for most. Point guard, they have Goran Dragic, Kendrick Nunn, and Avery Bradley. Okay? At the shooting guard position, they have Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero. Both of those guys have tremendous amounts of upside alongside with Kendrick Nunn. Small forward, Jimmy Butler. No explanation needed. Power forward, now this is where it gets, tricky. So, in the regular season, they ran out Bam Adebayo at the power forward position. And then in the postseason, they ran out Bam at the center position. Really not, too big of a difference, but it's just, like a thing. And then in the regular season, they ran out Myers Leonard at center, and then they ran out Jay Crowder at power forward during the finals, run. So the player that I am seeking the Heat to, trade for is Kevin Love. And why Kevin Love? Well, he should be, very easily available, right? Did not have an amazing season last season with the Cleveland Cavaliers, which, makes sense. They're a rebuilding team. He's often injured. He's 32 years old. He's not exactly, the prime, guy that a younger rebuilding team needs to have. No. He has no place on this Cleveland Cavaliers team. I believe his contract is for 2 more years, considering he will sign the extension the same year LeBron left. So he has 2 more years left. So by taking this, contract on, the Miami Heat would be, abandoning all 2021 cap space. But they can live with that, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But let's just talk about why the Heat would do it. And that's because they don't really have a solid, Jay Crowder replacement. Myers Leonard is decent, but he's not, the guy that they need, I think. Maurice Harkless is just way too inconsistent with his shooting. KZ Okpala is, relatively untested. It's just, they don't really have a solid power forward. Same with Precious. Precious, too, is untested. And the floor spacing with him and Bam would be awful. So by trading for Kevin Love, the Heat would obviously bring floor spacing at the cost of salary cap. So the whole, idea for this is Kevin Love, the Heat honestly might be able to get him without giving up either a first or a younger guy. And they could even potentially get him with giving up, that's, best case scenario, obviously. More realistically, I see them giving up something around like Kendrick Nunn and one of their, power forwards, obviously, because he's going to be coming into this rotation. Maybe Kelly Olynyk. Obviously, no salary cap would have to match. I'm assuming Andre Iguodala would get put into that conversation, too, to match salaries. But at the end of the day, what we're looking at here is a younger guy than salary cap filler. I don't believe the Heat would have to throw in any pick compensation because he has not played amazing. Kevin Love hasn't, at least. So, in terms of salary cap, which is what I'm sure all Miami Heat fans are looking at, 2021, the free agency class within a week just kind of evaporated, right? No LeBron James, no Paul George, no Giannis. The best player is now Kawhi Leonard. And while Kawhi might, want to say, hey, we want to come to Miami, Pat Riley is a genius when it comes to, trades and cap space. And if he really wanted to, he could get Kevin Love out of there, okay? So I'm not overly concerned about, cap space in that situation. So this Miami Heat team needs to be in win now mode. Jimmy Butler is older. He is a very, aggressive play style. He has a lot of miles on him from, his time in Minnesota, his time in Chicago. And quite honestly, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, and, guys like Precious, those guys are on a, whole different timeline from Jimmy Butler. And while they may work well together, just straight up chemistry, by the time Tyler Hero's an all-star, Jimmy Butler will likely, not be the Jimmy Butler that he is today. Okay? So by acquiring Kevin Love, ideally they'd only have to give up, maybe Kendrick Nunn. And by doing so, they'd both clear up a log jam at the point guard rotation and get a stretch four, which I think would be very beneficial to the Miami Heat, as, given all my reasons for that. Now, in terms of why Cleveland would do it, as I say before, Kevin Love just has no place on the team. They can get a younger guard with Kendrick Nunn. Now, the issue here for Cleveland is they already have Colin Sexton, they already have Darius Garland, they already have Isaac Okoro. They already have lots of guards. However, at the end of the day, quite honestly, I have a hard time seeing the Miami Heat giving anyone else up. Duncan Robinson is too important to floor spacing. Tyler Hero is not equal to Kevin Love in terms of, value. Precious, possibly, but I don't know. KZ Okpala, I feel like Miami Heat may have a real, steal on him, and they want to see how he does with that. So it gets tricky. But at the end of the day, I think this is the best, trade package the Cavaliers would get. So, Kevin Love and Miami Heat, people. I feel like that'd work. Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler can hopefully cover for him. And obviously, they could always, run lineups that would adjust to, the individual players. Like, for example, if they needed to, they could put Iggy in at shooting guard to help compensate for, Kevin Love's lack of all-star defense. Kevin Love, he's had, injury issues before, which is a big concern. He's also had, some chemistry issues, I believe, with, the younger guys. I saw something about how, he wasn't getting passed to enough. Didn't really pay attention to it because it's Cleveland, and if they don't have a certain player whose name is LeBron, they're not really relevant. So I didn't really pay attention to it. But I feel like, Kevin Love could definitely benefit from the Miami culture. Most people can benefit from the Miami culture. And I feel like Kevin Love especially would do very well down in Miami. Unlike, guys like James Harden, I've never, seen anything about Kevin Love, partying maskless at a strip club or, anything crazy like that. I feel like he would be a good fit down in Miami. I feel like he could work hard. He is used to being on contender from when he was on those LeBron teams. I just feel like it makes too much sense for both sides to not do it. So that's going to be it for today. So, as stated before, if you enjoyed the content, just like the video. It would help me out a ton. And if you enjoy daily sports videos, I cover the NBA, the NFL, college football, and college basketball. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. It would help me out a ton. I'm trying to hit 100 subs. All that good stuff. So, yeah, that's going to be it for today. Oh, yeah. Tell me down in the comments below what you think about this. I'm a Miami Heat fan, so this gets the Heat fan stamp of approval. Kevin Love, forgot to mention this, but he could be used to match salaries in a hypothetical, say, Bradley Beal trade. So just throwing that out there, because that's, the ultimate, guy that I think the Miami Heat need to go for. But seeing as how if he is still unavailable, they should focus mainly on Kevin Love. Anyways, long story short, let me know down in the comments below what you think, about this trade proposition, Miami Heat fans, Cleveland Cavaliers fans, NBA fans in general. Just let me know what y'all think. That's going to be it for today. Y'all have a good day. Yeah.